Hello, New Jersey homeowners or New Jersey wannabe homeowners. And heck, if you're not in New Jersey, you can watch this video as well because I am going to be reviewing information from a national level. I will speak a little bit at different times, interspersed within the video, how this applies to our local market. And I can refer you to an agent in your local market if you would like to know how the national information that I'm going to share applies to your market. So here we go. We know that we are in or coming to, depending on who you speak to, another recession. It's not going to be like the Great Recession was. And I want you to remember that a recession does not equal a housing crisis. We are not in a housing crisis. We are not in a bubble. We are not facing a crash. I feel like I've been saying that over and over and over again for the last 3 months. And that's because I have been saying it over and over and over again for the last 3 months. So what's the first thing that happens when we start heading into a recession that might even cause that recession? What starts to happen is interest rates rise. Interest rates then correlate to mortgage interest rates, and they do rise. In fact, they have been rising. In fact, they are higher than they've been in many, 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 many years. But you'll be happy to hear, I think, that in the last couple of weeks, interest rates have actually ticked down a little bit. I'll read you a quote because this is important for the whole video. Throughout history, during a recessionary period, interest rates go up at the beginning, and then in order to come out of that recession, interest rates are lowered in order to stimulate the economy. Historically, we've seen a repeated uptick in interest rates followed by a reduction in interest rates. If you look at this graph that we're going to put right up here on the video in front of my face, if you look at this graph, you'll see from 1971 until April 2022, you can see where the recessions were and where the interest rates were, the 30-year fixed mortgage interest rate relative to those recessions. Over the last 5 recessions, we have seen rates drop 1.8% from the peak. It takes the rates a little bit longer to come down because it takes time to get things back in order after a recession, but you can just rest assured that interest rates are not going to be crazy high forever. What really impacts the housing market? Supply and demand. Everything is driven by supply and demand. We still have a lack of supply of inventory. We still have more buyers than sellers. But let's talk about what's been going on. Inventory, although it's low, it has been going up in recent months. Between January and May, inventory has gone up. We're currently at 2.6 months. As we've already said, recession does not equal a housing crisis. The only crisis that we're having relative to housing is a lack of inventory, even though our supply is higher than it was this time last year. Experts are saying it's up to 20 or 21% more inventory now than there was last year. But what you have to remember is that we're not talking about the number of houses on the market. We're talking about the pace at which those houses are going to sell. The pace has slowed. That means that we've increased inventory. There are more options, there are more choices across the board, and this is happening here in my town and my state as well as what's going on nationally. Of course, there's pockets where it's worse or better, but Bernards Township and all of New Jersey, like I said, except for some pockets, are really following this. So the number of offers received on a property has gone down from last year. Last year, the average number of offers on every property that was listed for sale was 6.5. 6.5 offers on each listing. That's down to 5.5. Guys, that's still 5 offers on average for every property. What we're seeing is that the condition of the property is making a difference. The hot houses, the cream puffs, the ones that are Pottery Barn perfect, they are still selling very quickly. They may last 2 weekends on the market instead of 1. They may only get 10 showings instead of 30. They may only have 3 offers instead of 8 offers, but they're still selling, and they're still selling over asking. The percentage over asking, that has also kind of come down a little bit. I had a listing, $1,145,000. That's where we listed it. By the way, 3 years ago, we had it on the market for 1.1, and we could not get any offers over 1. Now we just accepted an offer, 1.175. We had 3 offers on that property. One was $999. One was list price, and one was $25,000 over list price. So it didn't go $100,000 over. Great house, great location, not super updated, wasn't a cream puff, but a great buy. Another listing that I had recently, I will call it cream puff, gorgeous. It was beautiful. We only had 10 showings, and they were all scheduled on like Thursday and Friday. So we listed on Tuesday and expected to have the weekend scheduled with coming soon. Didn't happen. My client called and said, should I be nervous? I said, no, not yet. Things are a little bit slow. And then come Thursday and Friday, we had 10 showings scheduled for the weekend. We had 3 offers. Every last one of them was over list price. We were listed in the mid 1.4s. Every offer, all 3 of them, not 10, 3 of them came in over 1.5, and we actually got lucky enough to get a cash offer. So the only difference between that house today on the market and 3 months, 6 months, a year ago on the market is not where it sold, but how quickly it sold and with how many people looking at it. Remember, it only takes 1 offer. So offers received is down. Over asking, that delta is lower. Sales are down. Inventory is up. Now remember, that doesn't mean there's more houses. It just means we're at a slower pace, so buyers have more time, which means they have more choices. Okay, so home sales have returned to pre-pandemic pace. We're now looking at the same type of market we were looking at in 2019, but our supply is still deficient. So take those headlines with a grain of salt. Our home values, whether we're talking here or nationally, in your state or mine, in Bernards Township, Basking Ridge, Chatham, Summit, Livingston, Morristown, whatever towns we're talking about, we are having a deceleration of pricing, not a decrease. The predictions are that we will continue to appreciate our values through 2026. That's as far as I could find any predictions. On average, they are predicting an 8.5% increase in value for 2022. 2023 is going to come down, but we're still going to appreciate 4.5%. And we're still looking at appreciation all the way into 2026 at 4%. So if you don't buy this summer, you're going to pay more next summer for the same house because prices are going to continue to rise. They're just not going to rise as quickly as they were. It's a deceleration, not a decline. So I'm going to conclude with a quote from Realtor.com, and that is, experts don't believe the market is in a bubble or that a crash is in the cards like it was during the Great Recession. The nation is still suffering from a housing shortage that has reached crisis proportions at a time, this is important, when many millennials are reaching the age when they start to consider homeownership. That is what's likely to keep prices high. So if you're looking to sell, you're probably not a millennial, but you're probably going to sell your house to a millennial. Millennials have reached their earning stride. They've started their families. They want to move out of the city. During the pandemic, people were coming out of the city and out of densely populated areas just to get more space. They were using their homes differently. We needed offices at home. We needed schools at home. We needed gyms at home. Pools are still prime. If you have a house with a pool, call me. We can probably sell it in a week. But millennials now, they're not moving for those reasons. They're moving because life goes on. And as I said, they've hit their earning stride. They're starting to have families. They want that house in the suburbs. That's going to keep things moving along, and it's going to keep inventory down and prices up. That's it, guys. I hope you learned something new. I hope you enjoy my videos. I wish that you would hit the subscribe button and click the little bell. You'll get notified whenever I post a new video. I hope to talk to you. My team works at your pace, not ours. We are always happy and always available for your calls, your questions, your emails, your texts. Let us have it. We love it. Have a great day. Do I look my best? So anyway, I'm gonna have to put this down for just 1 minute because all my papers just flew away.